of go in a little bit of different direction when it comes to relationship. I want to talk about the dynamic of a father and child relationship.
Okay.
I think it is in our community. It is a big issue. It's such an important relationship, yet it seems to be falling by the wayside at an alarming rate. Do you think there is a disconnect in this area? And if you do, what do you think the direction, or what would you tell society, people in society, to do today in order to get this correct?
Well, society started it.
That's what's up.
And once society started it, and this is not new. This is generations. Everybody, if somebody got the uncle they don't talk about, heard about, don't talk about, or your granddad, you heard some story, years ago. And also, from every story, there are bitter people from story, just like now. So now that bitterness went to somebody else. And now that person has a relationship with their father, so now that person's going to generate down.
Right, so it's just a cycle.
Yeah, so now that we have social media and everything, everybody's business is out there.
Okay.
Now we realize we have a problem.
Okay. So you think it's been this, I guess you might be right. I guess you might be right. So you don't think it's a bigger issue these days? You don't think that the issue of when I look out and see so many children, and I guess it's a little bit different for me because even back when in the day my mom and my dad weren't together.
Yeah,
my dad wasn't, I didn't hang out with him often, but he came over enough. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I won't say enough. He came over a lot.
Yeah.
It could have been definitely a better relationship.
Yeah.
But he did come by, and I think that the fact that we weren't so close affected me in my older years more so than it did when I was younger.
Right.
I think that today the problem is, I think that people who back in the day, now it's affecting them, and now it's showing to the next. Right. I agree with that, but I think it's more. I think it's easier to walk away as a father these days.
Easier because you can pay for it. You can pay to walk away.
Yeah.
As long as you got our child support system right now is set up to put the divide between father and family.
Do you think so?
It's so easy. It's set up just for that.
But do you
purpose.
have to walk away because you pay child support?
You don't have to, but it's acceptable, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It's made acceptable, and for a lot of jaded people, for a lot of bitter people, that's the route to take. Not because anything to do with a child, but just the relationship has so broken down. And it stems from the privacy, you find somebody just looking on their butt behind, or the woman, looking at this guy just because, you get that swag. You don't know what this person's about.
I agree.
So by the time
you had a baby with him, and he already had 5 kids, and he had to take care of them anyway.
So you got that dynamic that's, not a kid has to pay for.
Right. I agree. I think that I will adamantly agree that the child support system is not good to guys, especially men who want to do for their children and who try to. I agree with that. However, I do think that there is a huge issue with the fact that I've heard so many guys say, "Oh, I pay child support. I'm not doing nothing else." That's crazy, because to me, as a mom, and as a single mom, and I say single mom, that is not as if my children don't have fathers, but as a single mom, they lived with me. I don't have an option of a percentage check. 100% of what I have had to go to my family, my household, and I feel like when you get, I think it's bitterness on both sides. I think a man gets bitter, "Oh, I got to pay child support, I'm not doing nothing else." I think that is one of the most stupidest things that a person can say. I think that has nothing to do with the connection with your child. That has nothing to do with doing more. Now, if you're have to pay child support, that's absolutely ridiculous, and it's taking everything you have. I understand that, but that still doesn't have anything to do with your relationship with your child. So many men, and I won't just say men, so many parents don't have a connection with their children. There's no relationship with your children. I say relationship, I don't mean my friend. I mean, parent-child relationship. I think that the father in the families in our culture, I think it's so important, and it's not enough. There are plenty. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty great fathers, but there are not enough. And I think that they need to be held accountable, not just held accountable by friend of the court. They need to be held accountable by our culture, by our race, by our people, by the people that know them. I think that somebody say, I don't care that she took you to child support. So what? She was bitter. I understand she bitter. That's gonna come back on her. However, you still need to be in your child's life. However, that $250 or that $350, you may need to do a little bit more. And it may be hard for you to do a little bit more, but guess what? That's what you did when you chose to lay down with, Nene.
Yep.
Without using something, and now you have kids with Nene, and she has 6 more, and now you're helping everybody. That's your fault too. This can't be just on, one-sided. I think that we have to really, really do better.
Yeah, then we got a lot of bitter Nenes. They take the child is a bargaining chip.
I agree.
You can do it for me, or be with me, or you're not gonna see the child.
I agree, and that's where I feel like the friend of the court has dropped the ball.
Yeah, right there.
But I think it starts even before then. The thing that amazes me is that when a woman has a child and that man signs that birth certificate, he's on there, the woman still has absolutely all the rights, period, right from the beginning, which I think is crazy. Yeah. I think that it should be a 50-50 thing, and I know a lot of women are probably going to be mad at me for saying that.
All right.
But it's the truth because we're both parents.
All right.
And I think if you do it 50-50 from the beginning, and when I say 50-50, I'm not talking about just financially, but this is both of our child, this is both of our responsibility, period. I don't think a woman should be able to say, you know what, I'm not going to let you see your child, period.
All right, but you see Hallmark came out with a car from women on Father's Day.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that sent, like, ripples.
I'm going to say this. I have no problem with that, but I think that you should have it the other way around as well. You should have some, because I know some single fathers.
Yeah, I do too.
I know plenty of them. So I think it should be both ways. I think that if a woman is doing the mother and the father duties, happy Father's Day to her. And if a man is doing the mother and the father's duties, happy Mother's Day to him as well. I see nothing wrong with that, but you have to have it on both sides.
Yeah, but
you have to have it on both sides.
Everybody wants it for them.
Yeah.
Because it started with the child support, the friendly court system back when England was governor.
Yeah.
England made it tougher.
Yeah.
And that was not for the benefit of the society or the culture.
Yeah.
He did that for the vote, for women votes.
Yeah.
As long as he got women voters, he didn't care what happened. Yeah.
Right.
And
I
now
agree.
we
the whole system needs to be revamped. In so many ways, it needs to be revamped. But I think that men have to take a bigger responsibility in the beginning. When you first have that child, you go down and you get your rights for your child as well. Right. Because it's always wait until she's taking you to court, then you're saying something. No, go down and get your custody, your joint custody immediately. That way, you can get her for child support if need be. I mean, we gotta. But a lot of guys I've had this conversation with. Seriously, a lot of guys have talked to me about this type of situation, and she's taking me to court. Okay, well, why don't you take the child? Why don't you go down? Because the girl, you take. Yeah. No, but see that's gonna cut off. You can't go see Nene and them and the big booty girl on Facebook all the time when you got your kids at home.
All right.
So you have to. I mean, you got to think about it.
Yeah,
you know
think
what I'm saying?
about it. I tried. I went down a couple of times, and it's a cost factor. You got to pay like $65 every motion and. And then your lawyer, it gets expensive, especially when you're paying child. And it gets to a point where
I agree.
It also to a point where it costs too much to pursue.
I agree. I dated this guy for quite some time, but in the whole amount of time we were dating for like 3.5 years, he was literally in court.
Yep.
The whole time.
Yep.
He paid so much money to his attorney, it was crazy, and it was all because. The ex was upset because they weren't together anymore.
Yeah.
So the battle was on, and because she's the mom, so I agree with you when it comes to that point. Because she was the mom, they automatically
have all the rights.
All of the rights, and it was crazy, and it was a hard thing to watch. And being with him during that time showed me a completely different perspective. Because it's seeing somebody go through that battle and just wanting to spend time with their kid, but they're not allowed to, is at 2 hours of the week.
Yeah.
for no apparent reason, but yet I still have to continuously pay this lawyer so that you can't move out of the state or you can't, it is wrong. I think that, like you said, it needs to be revamped.
See, we as a culture has to tell our lawmakers to change it.
Yeah.
So they're not going to they're not going to do nothing on their own.
Well, that's the story in itself. We as a culture need to do a lot of things as far as lawmakers. We need to start standing up and stop standing up for the petty stuff and let's start going in and making things happen.
Yeah.
I agree.
If we don't talk to them and go after lawmakers, say, hey, this is killing our culture, then first of all, they say, well, we'll tell them advise this, say all the right things, and then say, okay, we're not going to vote for you unless you help us fix our culture.
Right.
Then
But the thing is, we can say that, but we don't even vote the way we should.
And
let's talk about our culture when it comes to personal responsibility. When I say personal responsibility,
we can fix this too.
Yeah,
all that falls in the umbrella.
I absolutely agree. If we just took that personal responsibility on my show, Girl Talk, I was talking about inner selfies. We have to take a culture inner selfie.
Yeah.
We have to literally look and say, this is our fault.
Yeah.
And we need to fix it.
Yeah.
It's so many things that, when we talk about violence, police brutality, believe me, I'm for it. I'm for it. Let's talk about getting this done. Let's talk about fixing the situation. It's horrible. It needs to be addressed.
Right.
Believe me, let's protest it. However, when I turn on my news, I don't see police brutality all day. When I go down my streets, when my friends tell me, oh, I just got robbed, or somebody just stole my car, or this guy, I just got carjacked, all of these things. That's not the police. That's not the white man doing it.
Nope.
That's my people doing this to me on a regular basis. And we are not protesting that. We stand firm on no stitching. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life. Are you crazy?
That's insane.
You're crazy for saying that you're not going to snitch on somebody who just carjacked the 97-year-old lady down the street and beat her up. That's not snitching. That's getting this asshole off the streets.
Yeah.
But back in the day, the streets wouldn't allow that to happen.
Nope. They can't find you.
Right.
Real
Absolutely.
quick.
Because if the police didn't get you, the street guys would get you. There was, like I said, it sounds crazy, but there were some standards. There were some things you could not do. You couldn't rape women. You couldn't kill children, or you were going to have to deal with the consequences of the streets. Nowadays, there's no consequences
there has to be
at all.
A counterculture movement.
Yeah.
We have to say our culture right now, as it stands, is unacceptable. We need to counter it and get that movement going. Because right now, I'll tell you the truth, our culture is kind of out of control.
Oh, absolutely.
Nobody knows how to act, how to respond.
Absolutely.
And
all the way around.
Until somebody say, okay, wait a minute, stop, people.
Right. I mean, we need a self-destruction album again.
You know what?
We need somebody to get out there. Let's get self-destruction back up and running. Let's remix it.
I thought about that, but as soon as you get somebody beefed out, it be beef on the set. Then you got TMZ involved.
Right.
And then they said, okay, let's beef out so we can get some more ratings.
Right, so we can get some more ratings.
So now everybody beefed out is ratings.
I think that it is on so many levels. So many people can do so many different things. Like just us having this conversation. Hopefully, it can generate somebody for saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do from now on, or I'm going to look at this, or I'm going to keep. There used to be neighborhood watches.
Yeah.
There's no neighborhood watches. Back in the day, if I did something outside the house and one of the neighbors saw me, the neighbor could whoop me.
Oh yeah, me too.
Then take me home and I got another whooping.
So
let the neighbor touch you today.
Oh, it's on the podcast.
It's on. Listen, a teacher can't even. I used to get a paddle at school. Right. Yes.
Right.
Yes, it's gonna go down if you act. You're gonna get in trouble.
See,
nowadays, if you even talk to their kids, the parents on their way up there, they want to fight you, but they don't come to PT. They don't come to parent-teacher conference.
All that happened, but that kind of clouded when you got fatherlessness.
Yeah.
You had all these people around the child. So even that child didn't have a father, he still had.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
The community around.
I agree. I absolutely
so now you have
agree.
no community and you have no father.
And it's even worse. That's
so now you have a child just boom,
nothing. Right.
cannonball right through life.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, and I think that the celebrities, I think that they need to step up. And I have no problem with hip hop, rap, and gangster rap. You know, I think I get tired of people saying, "Oh, they listen to," you know. I listened to that back in the day.
Yeah, we had two live crew.
Right. That means
That's nothing.
and they got it in. Scarface.
Right,
you know, let's talk
we
about
had all that.
So we had it. I think that the problem is nobody wants to take a stand and be unpopular. I might lose some people following me on Instagram if I say something about this, or they might not buy my album. It needs to be something done. I say that. I call out everybody that's a celebrity, whether it's just in the inner city. I don't care where you're at, the Jay-Z's, the Beyoncé's, and I'm big fans.
Oh yeah.
But something needs to be done. Talk to these kids. Come to the kids. Don't just do a concert. Come, have them sit down, have a conversation with them about what is going on and what we need to do to move forward.
Right. It's
and
like,
then throw a concert after the fact. Give them something. Reach out to them in a different way outside of that because it needs to be done.
Right. Because I was reading an article about the Charles Wright Museum, how it's being underfunded, and
how is that possible?
It's possible because we have people who go in the city, they're giving a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there. But you're talking about celebrities who don't come to it at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I agree. I think you're right. That needs to be, those type of things need to be looked at as well as a community. As a whole, we need to take some accountability. We need to get together. Teamwork makes the dream work is my favorite motto. And that goes for everything. And we need to figure out what we need to do in order to get our people together. But we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back after this.